So, you want to be rich, huh? Well, let's talk about how statistically unlikely that is and how capitalism is an inherently exploitative system.
I'm here to tell you how I got rich. Basically, it went something like this. Blah, 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 yada, 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 boom, bam, billions!
Well, first of all, let's get this out of the way. Most people that are rich are, you guessed it, born rich. So if you're not born rich, that already, knocks you down a couple of pegs, makes it even more statistically unlikely to become rich. But let's look at some other reasons. If you have any morals or values or ethics, good luck trying to become rich. Most wealth is accumulated by doing unethical things and betraying your morals and values for money. So, good luck with that one. Good luck trying to get rich if you have any morals, values, or ethics. Have any moral qualms about paying your employees a living wage? Too bad. Have any moral qualms about using slave labor? That's tough. Have any moral qualms about trying to work your employees as much as possible while finding loopholes to not classify them as full-time employees so you don't have to give them health benefits? Well, you're out of luck. I hear a lot of people saying, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna be a millionaire, man. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and be a billionaire. Now, I don't think people actually realize. I don't think people understand. I don't think people comprehend how much larger 1 billion is to 1 million. I don't think they understand how many orders of magnitude 1 billion is compared to 1 million. 1 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. Just to put that into perspective, right? There's no way that someone can gather that amount of wealth by just simply working harder than everyone else. Just a thought. Another misconception is that capitalism is a meritocracy, when that's simply not the case. Shoehorning in antiquated, unethical practices for the sake of making money is not a merit that any progressive society has. So, with that being said, not only does hard work not guarantee success, but the richest people don't work hard, and the people that work the hardest are the poorest. Let me repeat that. The richest people, the most wealthy people, they don't work hard. But the people who work the hardest are the poorest. That is literally the antithesis of a meritocracy. Hard work equals success? My ass cheeks. I still don't think y'all understand how many orders of magnitude $1 billion is compared to $1 million. Alright? So let's say if you make $100,000 a year untaxed, how long would it take you to get to $1 million? 10 years, right? 10 years, alright? Now just take a guess at how many years do you think it will take to get to $1 billion off of $100,000 a year untaxed before taxes? Take a guess. 10,000 years. That's how long it will take you to get to $1 billion if you make $100,000 a year untaxed. No one works hard for $1 billion. No one works hard for $1 billion. I don't get this through your head, man. You have to comprehend this. So just think about it. Before you rush to defend these billionaires, to defend a system in which one person can accumulate not even just $1 billion, but hundreds of billions of dollars. Before you rush to defend those systems, just comprehend and understand that your argument really holds no weight when we're talking about this amount of money being attributed to some sort of meritocracy or hard work. Good grief. So just realize that the incomprehensible amount of wealth that these billionaires have, right? When you defend these billionaires, hey man, they worked hard for their money. You're smoking dick if you think they worked hard for that money. Just think about all the problems in this world. All the suffering in this world. The fact that they can end it, they can completely abolish all those problems, all that suffering, with an infinitesimal fraction percentage of their wealth. And every day they wake up and choose not to. At a certain point, at a certain amount of power, your inaction becomes action. Just think about this shit. $100,000 a year to get to $1 billion in 10,000 years, right? Untaxed, right? Last time I checked, most people in first world countries, in developed countries, don't even make that much. A lot of them don't make half that much a year. And that's with taxes. Last time I checked, half the world doesn't have clean water. So just get it through your head. Capitalism is a scam. It is a scam. Because they'll tell you that a person working hard, trying to just get the basic necessities for survival, they'll tell you to forego the few joys that you have in life that are keeping you alive and not committing suicide due to severe existential dread. They'll tell you to forego those things, man. Hey man, don't drink your iced coffee, don't have Wi-Fi, don't use the internet, don't play video games, man, video games. They'll tell you some dumb shit like that. But they won't tell this motherfucker over here with $100 billion, to stop buying, maybe don't buy, 50, private yachts and private jets, maybe forego one of those at least, maybe that'll change a couple 100 million people's lives, just a thought. Capitalism is a fucking scam. There's nothing, it's just so fucking blatantly obvious. I've yet to hear a a coherent, logical, rational argument to refute this. So before y'all start beating yourselves up about, falling for the propaganda, the capitalist propaganda that your worth as a human being is equated to how much money you make, I'm here to tell you that's false. That's not right. It's not true. Here to tell you that mathematically, the odds are definitely not in your favor. I mean, that's the math, man. It's right here, right in front of you. So you're probably thinking, man, my job sucks, man. I'm not making ends meet, man, with this shitty job, man. So you know what? I'll go start a business so I can become financially free. Bullshit, man. Bullshit. It's bullshit, man. All of this shit is rigged. First of all, you gotta have money to start the business, right? But let's say you get some startup funds for your business, for that new business idea you have, right? Well, 20% of businesses fail in the first year, right? So all that money just to fail in the first year. 50% fail in the first 5 years. And I would go as far to say 100% fail because capitalism is a self-destructive system. I just want you guys to know that it doesn't matter which position you're in the inherently flawed system. The system is still inherently flawed. It doesn't matter. It still runs off of exploitation. It still rewards psychopathic traits. It still breeds psychopathic traits. Right? So this is how capitalism works. You have the proletariat, the workers, the working class. Then you have the bourgeoisie, the bosses, the capitalist class. The capitalist class, the bourgeoisie, owns the means of production, right? So these guys over here, their labor, the fruits of their labor is owned by this guy, over here with the top hat and monocle, right? So the surplus value of their labor, the amount shaded in blue, is the amount that goes to this guy, the bourgeoisie, the capitalist. It's that little sliver of white space right there. That amount gets divvied up, gets divided up between all of these guys, even though their labor is what created all of it. All profit means is unpaid wages. That's what it is. This guy's exploiting these guys. This piece of shit is exploiting these guys. What I realize is that anarcho-capitalists, libertarians, right? Anarcho-capitalists, they're willing to forego giving the proletariat what they worked for, right? The surplus value of their labor. They're willing to forego that for an infinitesimally small chance of becoming this monumental piece of shit. This guy. That's what they want. Because they think that if there's no regulation on corporations and big business, that they can start their business and become this monumental piece of shit. But what they fail to understand is that's not going to happen at all Because if that's the case, if anarcho-capitalism comes into effect, then big business will strong arm and suffocate any other smaller businesses from even coming into existence. They'll put all of the smaller businesses out of business because there's no regulation and they have all the power. Right? I mean, just imagine that. They want the world to be essentially ruled by corporations with an iron fist. Right? See what this government, with government, when they no longer have government, there's no need for this facade of, empathy, this facade of compassion, right? They can just do whatever the fuck they want. No need to put their money into politics so they can get power. They're already in power. They are the politics. What they say goes in anarcho-capitalism. So I don't understand what you anarcho-capitalists, I don't think you fully understand your position. Fucking idiots. So with that being said, I think you can understand how clearly and blatantly this isn't a meritocracy. Right? This is not a meritocracy. So, the system is exploitative by nature. Right? Inherently exploitative. And yeah. It's a zero-sum game. Capitalism is a zero-sum game. There necessarily has to be losers for there to be winners, so to speak, quote unquote, right? For this guy to be a multi-billionaire, these people have to be in poverty, necessarily, by the nature of the system. Because, once again, his profit is merely their unpaid wages. Because since he owns the means of production, he just takes the surplus value of their labor and runs out the back door with all the money. Wait a minute. Since everything in capitalism is commodified, your life is a commodity. So, remember all of the value of labor that this asshole gets for doing absolutely nothing, right? That little scrap that the working class gets over here, that goes to cost of living, which goes right back to this asshole. So this guy gets the complete and total amount of the value of labor for doing absolutely nothing. He owns the means of production. The working class, the proletariat, does the labor, gets an infinitesimal amount of that value of labor, which then goes directly to the cost of living. So you're not even getting, you're slaving away, you're being a wage slave to barely cover the cost of survival. You can barely afford basic necessities, let alone your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And remember, folks, this is not a bug of the system. It's a feature of the system. Everybody wants to have a kid, huh? A lot of people want to have kids, That's how much it'll cost, around, that much, give or take. It'll cost around that much until that child turns to 18. That's how much you'll be paying for one kid, you know. I see people with, you know, having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, you know, maybe even more. You know, that's how much it'll cost. So, you know, good luck with that. Oh yeah, and remember, you know, like 90% of the population subscribes to a superstitious cult. Religion, you know. Sorry, but no, not sorry, but you know, so that's about 10% of your annual income, maybe even more, you know. So, you know, good luck with that one. So yeah, if you're religious, you have to pay 10% of your annual income to a scam artist. Your preacher. Yeah, your preacher, yeah. So, with all that being said, fuck capitalism. Right? I'm here to tell you that trying to get rich is an exercise in futility. And I'm not telling you that, you know, money can't buy happiness, because that's another capitalist propaganda. That's more capitalist propaganda. Basically, instead of saying that there's a diminishing return on how much money it can affect your happiness, they're saying that poor people don't deserve to have basic necessities, and that they should learn to become accustomed to poverty while they hoard incomprehensible amounts of wealth. But, you know, that's the nature of the system. There's nothing that you can do to reform it. There's no little things that you can, you know, the little facade that you want to put over it, you know. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change the root cause. Doesn't change the features inherently in capitalism, in the system. Can't reform it. Can't put a smiley face on it. Can't put a rainbow on it. You know, you can't. There's nothing you can do unless you abolish the entire system as a whole. Just a thought.